I'd say, what's the biggest challenge? What's the biggest challenge?
I can tell you the biggest challenge right now. I haven't even done a show yet, but it's having 90 minutes worth of material, and it's all on you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
Mine is in the beginning when I first started out. That it was that. Now after doing it, it's being engaging. You got to keep, if it's one person or if it's 400 people, they gotta all be in your hand, and you gotta engage them. That's the biggest challenge. And for 90 minutes, that can be difficult to do because, like I said, it does have stand-up elements, but it also has a lot of storytelling elements. It also has a lot of just facts elements. So to go from a joke to like, okay, I'm just telling you this because it's a fact. It's not funny. It's just information. Yeah. And then go back to a joke. It can be hard. You got to get them early on. It can be hard to transition from one thing to the other, since it isn't 90 minutes of set up joke, set up joke, set up joke.
So how do you keep yourself motivated? Is it the money?
As always. Yes, always.
I guess motivated while performing the show.
Well, yeah, because as you said, you repeat the same story,
right.
every day.
Well, no,
so then it's like.
Yeah, like I said, it's just very because it's motivated because the audiences are. I do get motivated because the audiences are different, and there's with this particular show, there's nothing like looking out at the audience and seeing these couples have a good time with each other, and that's what this show's about. It's all about relationships. It's all about learning how the other sex communicates with one another, so you don't get into trouble and things like that. So when I'm talking about all this information on stage and seeing these couples laugh at each other, give each other hugs during certain parts of the show, and that's really great. That's what keeps me motivated, because that's what this show's about. And that's why it's been running for 20 years. It could keep running for another 20 years and now what's even smarter about this show is that they do have different guys doing it. So now it's, even though we're all doing the same script, we all have different personalities. So somebody's going to see me here do the show in Dallas, and they're going to come back and see John. They're going to see a different show, even though it's the same words, and they're going to have a different experience, and that's really cool. And I've heard a lot of audience members come up to me and say "Oh, I saw Ben do it. It was cool to see you do it too." And as opposed to just one guy doing it all the time, like Rob is doing, even though that was great back in the day. But I think what they're doing now is just moving into the future. We got more people, intimate spaces, more guys doing it, different personalities, and
like I used to sing a little, and I'd get the buzz being on stage. Once you're on stage, I mean, actually being up there, people are on you, eyes are on you. I mean, you got it's a buzz. I mean, you get that same.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna sit there and say that I'm one of those actors who doesn't feed off that. Being up on stage alone, yeah, of course. It feeds the ego, of course it does.
We all have to look at knee disease.
I mean, what actor, most actors get into this business because they want to be recognized. So what actor wouldn't want to do a one-man show for an hour and a half and make people laugh? Yeah. So that,
Another challenge, and this is just coming from somebody somebody that has done traditional theater for so long. This is so different because in traditional theater, you don't break the fourth wall. You don't acknowledge the audience. It's all about the truth on stage and interacting and connecting with the other actors. And the entire show, you're breaking the fourth wall. You're talking to the audience. You're engaging them. You're asking them questions and expecting them to yell things out. I mean, it's completely different. So it's going to be a real different experience for me. And we're going to see. It's going to be interesting to see how that works. I've never done that. Never done stand-up.
Yeah. Well, I think, we have
a couple of different guys. Some of them came from theater background, some of them come from comedy, some of them got Paul at both. And but I find personally that it's a little more difficult for people that have a theater background to handle like the one-man live comedy shows than it is for comedy to go to theater. Not everybody, but like the theater guys, like there's certain parts of the show where there's long pauses, kind of like what I was talking about. Rob, when he got his work, he could just sit there for 2 minutes, and he commanded the stage. He could sit there quiet, he could do whatever he wanted. stand-up comedians, I think in general, can go through long pauses longer than somebody that's just trained in theater, because they're not used to sitting there with a really just
I can see that.
in
I can see
silence.
I can see that, but I came
Because
from
the people aren't.
before I went into theater though. I was also the front man for a band, and our band was like, we were comedy metal. So we were playing. I mean, and in between songs, we're all up there just messing around and joking the whole time. So I think that, although I haven't been a traditional stand-up, I've had that sort of experience engaging a crowd without a script.
Yeah,
So,
and that's, I mean, John's going to be,
in between songs and stuff, and you're kind of sitting there,
Yeah,
relaxing, eating water or whatever.
yeah, just joking around.
no, John's going to be great. It's just very, you know, that's why I really hope this show does well here, because the audience can have a good time, because they are part of the show. I mean, I'm the only one talking, but you have to listen to the audience. You have to really listen. That's where the acting comes involved, and not the stand-up. You have to listen like they are your partner in that particular scene, and listen to where that laughter or that particular joke may or may not be taking them or whatever. You got to listen to that, and you got to find out how to work with that. And I think that's what makes it intimate, and that's what makes people have a good time, because I think the audience knows that I'm with them. I'm listening to see what they're responding to also.
Yeah,